Hey everyone, welcome into the short video where we look at integrating technology inside our classrooms. Just want to say, with WIOA, with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, it's an absolute must to help our students to learn to use technology, because that's what the workforce of today and the workforce of tomorrow really is technology. So we certainly should do everything we can to help make sure that our students are up to speed on technology. I want to show you two of my favorite historical technology integration techniques are, one of which is called ThingLink. And ThingLink is a free website that you can log into, ThingLink. And I'm logged into my free account. It just takes a minute to create one, and you can create a ThingLink. And what ThingLink does, it's kind of like the old poster presentation on steroids. What I have here is a historical picture of the Battle of Lexington on April 19, 1775. And what ThingLink allows you to do is annotate it, or in other words, you can put these little markers here and you can talk more about various things inside the picture. So for example, I have you included some information here about the British Army. As I've taught this picture before, sometimes people are confused. Hey, what's all that white stuff? And it's the smoke from the British muskets here. And I included the point that the colonists here, the colonial militia that was facing the British Army, was really very brave to try to stand up against them, because the British soldiers were the best trained army in the world, and they could fire their muskets 3 times in 1 minute. Every 20 seconds they could load those flintlock rifles, boom, boom, boom. Whereas the colonial militia, these were just a group of guys. They were not trained professional soldiers. They were, the local blacksmith, the local printing press operator. They would get together once or a couple times a week and drink some adult beverages and try to pretend that they were soldiers, but they were certainly no match. And we can see, this is a fairly accurate account. They turned tail pretty quickly and realized they couldn't stand up against the British Army fighting the way the British wanted to fight. So, I concluded several points here. I've integrated a video, the History Channel, when they did the documentary series in 2010. You can integrate this and you can play the link of how they showed it. And I've showed some more modern paintings of this event, which are very, very different than Amos Doolittle's ones here that he made shortly after the battle was done in 1775. I've included a website about the history of flintlock rifles and guns, who fired the first shot. And they do reenactments also of the battle every year in April up in Boston. And so here's a video from YouTube that shows that taking place. So ThingLink is very easy to use. You and your students can learn it in a few minutes. It's an easy way to add a little more depth to historical account. Maybe students could do this in lieu of giving some type of a report. So there's ThingLink, free program, easy to use, easy to get into. I also like Fakebook. And Fakebook is something where we can take these characters of history who lived far before Facebook was created, and create a virtual Facebook account for them. I'm looking at the one that was created for one of my favorite people in all of history, Winston Churchill, and they've included some of the famous things that he said. George Bernard Shaw, the famous playwright, they're showing this. He made this quote to Churchill, but of course he didn't do it on his Facebook page. But Bernard Shaw said, "I'm enclosing 2 tickets to the first night of my new play. Bring a friend if you have one." They were always kind of digging at each other. And Churchill comes back and says, "Cannot possibly attend the first night. Will attend the second, if there is one." So they're both going back and forth, and they're showing Churchill's very famous Iron Curtain speech that he made in 1946, and they've got a YouTube link to it. So it's just a way that you could get the person thinking about this character inside history, and they could create Facebook posts that would be similar to what they may have done had Facebook been around at that time. So here Churchill's posted a portrait of him meeting with Joseph Stalin and Franklin Roosevelt, and the Yalta Conference at the end of the war, where he's meeting with President Harry Truman and Joseph Stalin after that as well. And so he's showing several things, and shows about how in the early 1960s, when he became an honorary citizen of the United States, and then they kind of humorously say when he died on January 24th, 1965, this last stroke was a killer. Glad to see so many people at the funeral. So it was kind of interesting to see. But it's Fakebook, again, very easy to use and a free thing that you can do. You can go ahead and just go in and put all the information in and roll from there. So very, very easy to use. And Fakebook is able to use for more events beside history, and they give some information if you wanted to use it in an English class, show a series of historical events, debates going on between people, etc. So very fun, easy tool to use, ThingLink and Fakebook. Try them out in your classroom and let us know how they go.